What if I told you that one single putt could change the course of golf history, that a moment of sheer focus and precision could define a career and inspire generations to come? Jack Nicklaus, 46 years old, written off by many as past his prime, stood on the 18th green at Augusta in 1986 with everything on the line. As the ball rolled toward the hole, the entire world watched, holding its breath. But this wasn't just any putt. This was the putt that would rewrite the rules of what it means to be a champion. How did Nicklaus defy the odds to claim his place in history? And what made that final moment so unforgettable? Stay with us as we uncover the incredible story of Jack Nicklaus and how he redefined the final putt in golf forever. Jack Nicklaus, a name that echoes through the halls of golf history like no other. With 18 major championships, the most ever, Nicklaus didn't just play golf, he defined what it means to be great. But it wasn't just the sheer number of titles that cemented his legacy. It was the moments, the clutch shots under pressure, the ability to perform when everything was on the line. And of all these legendary moments, none stands out more than his incredible victory at the 1986 Masters. At 46 years old, Nicklaus was supposed to be finished, a living legend whose best days were behind him. But that year, he turned back the clock in a way no one could have predicted. With his signature calm under pressure and strategic brilliance, Nicklaus delivered a performance for the ages, culminating in that unforgettable final putt. What was it about this moment that shook the world of golf to its core? What did it take for Nicklaus to reclaim glory when all the odds were stacked against him? Let's dive into the story behind one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. Before the world saw Jack Nicklaus as a champion, he was a kid growing up in Columbus, Ohio, swinging his first club at just 10 years old. His father, Charlie Nicklaus, introduced him to the game, but Jack's natural talent was something that couldn't be taught. By age 13, he won the Ohio State Junior Championship, and by the time he was 18, he had captured the US amateur title, a sign of what was to come. Fast forward to 1962, Nicklaus, just 22, faces Arnold Palmer, the reigning king of golf, in a showdown at the US Open. The crowd was undoubtedly on Palmer's side, but Nicklaus had something to prove. With ice in his veins, he outlasted Palmer in an 18-hole playoff to win his first major championship. It was the start of something historic. Nicklaus was no longer just a young challenger, he was a force to be reckoned with. As Nicklaus racked up victory after victory, one thing became clear. He wasn't just good under pressure, he thrived in it. But all these early triumphs were merely setting the stage for his defining moment, a moment that would come years later when his career and legacy were on the line. It was 1986 and the Masters tournament at Augusta National had never seen a story quite like this. Jack Nicklaus was 46 years old, well past the age when most golfers even think about contending for major championships. Many believed his best days were behind him, but Nicklaus had different plans. On that Sunday afternoon, April 13th, 1986, Nicklaus stepped onto the course not just looking for another win, but to make history. With the field packed with younger players in their prime, including Seve Ballesteros and Greg Norman, Nicklaus knew he would need something extraordinary, and then it happened. On the back nine, Nicklaus caught fire. Birdie after birdie, the Golden Bear clawed his way back into contention. By the time he reached the 17th hole, he was within striking distance of victory, and then came the 18th, a moment every golf fan remembers. Standing over the ball, with the gallery holding their breath, Jack lined up for the putt that could seal his 6th green jacket. The roar of the crowd was deafening, but Nicklaus remained composed, raising his putter in quiet triumph. That single putt didn't just win the Masters, it secured his place in history. At 46, Nicklaus had become the oldest Masters champion ever. But this wasn't just about the win, it was about proving to the world, and perhaps to himself, that age was no barrier when you had the heart of a champion. Yet, what was it about Jack Nicklaus that allowed him to thrive in these high-pressure moments? What made him different from all the others? To understand Jack Nicklaus's greatness, you have to look beyond his physical skill. Sure, he had a powerful swing and unmatched accuracy, but his true strength lay between his ears. Nicklaus was known for his intense mental preparation, long before sports psychology was even a thing. He didn't just hit balls on the driving range, he studied courses, visualized his shots, and even imagined every possible scenario he might face on the green. One of Nicklaus's favorite sayings was, "Golf is 90% mental and 10% physical," and he proved it time and again. His ability to stay calm and composed in the face of mounting pressure was legendary. In a game where a single missed putt can mean the difference between winning and losing, Nicklaus thrived by staying in control of his emotions, but mental toughness wasn't his only secret. Nicklaus also had an incredible knack for course management. He didn't just play the course, he dissected it, shot by shot. Unlike many of his rivals who relied on raw power, Jack knew how to think his way around a course. He played smart, choosing precision over flash, which is why he was always in contention when it mattered most. But even a great mind and strategy aren't enough without the ability to execute. And when it came to execution, especially with the putter, Nicklaus had no equal, which brings us to his rivals, the men he conquered on his way to becoming a legend. Jack Nicklaus didn't rise to the top of golf by cruising through weak competition. In fact, some of the greatest players in the sport's history were his fiercest rivals, and he beat them time and time again. Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, Tom Watson, these were no ordinary competitors. Each of them was a legend in their own right, yet Nicklaus consistently found a way to come out on top when it mattered most. Let's start with Arnold Palmer. Nicknamed the King, Palmer was the face of golf in the late 1950s and early 60s. His charisma and aggressive style won over fans, making him the sport's first true superstar. When a young Nicklaus defeated Palmer in a playoff at the 1962 US Open, the balance of power in golf shifted. Palmer had the crowd, but Nicklaus had the nerves. That victory marked the start of one of golf's greatest rivalries, friendly but fiercely competitive. By the time Nicklaus retired, he'd amassed more major titles than Palmer ever did, cementing his place as the new king of the sport. Next up, Gary Player, the South African known for his relentless work ethic. Player was famous for his fitness and discipline, attributes that gave him staying power in a physically demanding sport. He and Nicklaus would clash in many major tournaments, often going head-to-head in thrilling contests. Player won 9 majors in his career, an extraordinary achievement, but Nicklaus always seemed to have just a little bit more when it counted. The respect between them was mutual though, with Player once saying, "Jack is the greatest gentleman I've ever known in the game." And then there was Tom Watson. Watson was one of the few golfers who could truly go toe-to-toe with Nicklaus at the height of his powers. Their duel at the 1977 British Open at Turnberry is the stuff of legend. In what became known as the Duel in the Sun, Watson and Nicklaus went shot for shot, hole for hole, for 2 straight rounds. Watson edged out Nicklaus by a single stroke to win the title, but Nicklaus walked away with his head held high. Even in defeat, he was gracious, proof that Nicklaus understood the importance of sportsmanship, even when the competition was fierce. These rivalries pushed Nicklaus to be better, to refine his game and rise above. But even as the competition got tougher, Nicklaus consistently found a way to win. How did he do it? What gave him the edge over these legendary players? That's where we dive into the mental and strategic mastery that separated Nicklaus from the rest. It was April 13th, 1986, and the setting was Augusta National, one of the most hallowed grounds in all of sports. Jack Nicklaus, at 46 years old, stood over a putt on the 17th green. The odds were stacked against him. He hadn't won a major championship in 6 years, and many believed his best days were behind him. But Nicklaus wasn't just playing against time or expectations, he was playing against a stacked field of younger, hungry golfers. As Nicklaus eyed the 12-foot birdie putt, the world held its breath. If he sank it, he'd vault into the lead at the Masters, a tournament he had already won 5 times. This wasn't just any Sunday. This was the Golden Bear turning back the clock, a moment where history and fate collided. With his iconic, methodical stroke, Nicklaus sent the ball rolling across the green, and then it dropped. Cheers erupted across Augusta. Through his course design, his philanthropic efforts, and his role as a mentor to the next generation of golfers, Nicklaus has continued to shape the sport he dominated. He's designed over 300 golf courses around the world, creating lasting legacies where future champions will emerge. His charitable work through the Nicklaus Children's Healthcare Foundation has impacted thousands of lives, showing that his contributions go well beyond the fairways. Nicklaus redefined what it means to be a champion both on and off the course. His career is a testament to hard work, mental toughness, and the ability to evolve with time. The impact Jack Nicklaus has had on the game is timeless. His legacy is the embodiment of greatness, and for every golfer who dreams of making history, Nicklaus remains the ultimate example of what's possible. As we look to the future of golf, the shadow of Nicklaus's achievements continues to loom large, and every young player striving to reach the top. Jack Nicklaus isn't just a part of golf's history, he's the heartbeat of its future.